Hey YouTube, this is Big Country with Big Country Survival. Alright, well, I've been doing some thinking, and you know, you probably, if you're a prepper, you probably, are working on your food. You know you need, however much food. You know you need water. You know you need soap, medical supplies, guns, skill sets, right? Those are all things, that are pretty standard. But I bet there's something that y'all haven't thought about stockpiling and storing away for, the end of the world as we know it. Right? So I bet there's something that you guys haven't thought of. I have just recently had to go through and repair a few of my pair of jeans that I use for work. And yes, I could probably have gone and purchased more pants, right? I could have purchased more pair of jeans and just thrown those out, right? But who wants to waste that money right now? Let's grit up. I don't want to waste the money. If I can get some old ratty looking work jeans, to go through for another year, then I'm gonna do it. Right? So sewing stuff. First off, do you know how to sew? First off, there's, do you know how? If you don't, you should. You should learn. Get a needle, thread, and some scrap fabric. It's easy, right? You figure out what works. Lots of how-to videos out there on YouTube, not necessarily prepping related videos, but there are lots of how-to videos on sewing, knitting, crocheting, and all that fanciful, hipster, hippie kind of stuff, right? All of those of which, all of the aforementioned things are actually really good skill sets to have, but I digress. So learn how to sew, and by sew I mean sew by hand. I don't mean run a sewing machine. Sewing machine is a good thing to run to, especially if you have like one of the old, antique Singer sewing machines. Those would be awesome on the homestead. However, you may have to bug out. Your pants, they're probably going to get torn. Your shirt's going to get torn. What are you going to get, what are you going to do? You can't run to Walmart or wherever it is that you buy your clothes. Most of mine come from the farming supply stores or military surplus stores. But I digress. So wherever it is that you get your clothes, you're not going to be able to just go down there and get them. But so sewing is a necessary skill to keep the clothes you've got going longer. Because you'll be doing stuff outside, you'll be working. and people that don't work on a regular basis have no idea how hard that is on clothing. So learn how to do that. And right now, go and buy needles and thread and just stock up. I mean, you don't need like 3,000 freaking sewing needles, most likely. Though I'd say they'd be relatively cheap to get that much. But no, what you do need is some basic needles and, some extras, right? And shoot, you can buy needles cheap. You can buy thread cheap. I mean, frickin' spool of thread's like 65 cents 65 cents, whatever. I mean, it's not even $1 for a decent sewing thread. I mean, what's wrong with all that? I mean, you're not spending a whole bunch of money, and it's something that you will need later on down the road, and it's also something that could be bartered with, because old Jenny didn't prepare. Her her dress from Nordstrom has a big old tear down it, and she doesn't have a needle and thread, much less the skills to sew it, because little Jenny didn't prepare is pretty much useless in the present, or in that scenario, right? No offense to any women out there named Jenny. I have to put that kind of stuff in there because, people get offended so easily, right? Not you, Jenny. Anyway, so this is something, to consider. Stocking up on needle and thread. I don't hear anyone talking about it. You know why? Because it's not glorious or glamorous, right? No one talks about stocking up on needles and thread, and things like that you don't think about, or no one mentions anyway. Maybe some people out there do think about it, but I don't hear anything from it. So there's my 2 cents for today. Go home. Tell the ones you love that you love them every day. We are not promised tomorrow. This is Big Country with Big Country Survival. Signing out. God bless.